Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
You can often tell a lot at this stage from a match by the break-off shot. What sort of break-off you're going to see on the other table. Basically get them open as quickly as possible.
Foul. 4. Ali
I was watching
Carter.
some of that match with Ronnie. Table 2 match features Xiao Xin Tong and Mark Allen, and he was less impressed with the break-off shot from both men. A little disrespectful perhaps, but I don't think we'll be seeing any of that here.
It's funny actually, Ronnie, he's a bit old school in many ways. You know, you think of him as a sort of rebellious character, but I think when it comes to the niceties of snooker, he likes to see things done properly. He had that World Championship a couple of years ago, the Joe Davis coaching book with him, learning from the first ever world champion.
That surprises me a little, because Joe Davis was very, very left eye dominant. Completely different stance and technique. But his principles were absolutely correct. Fundamentals in terms of technique, utterly right. Stood up then and certainly stand up today. First good opportunity seems to have risen. Ali Carter here. It's awkward when you've had a bit of a break between matches. Tend to relax, have a chat, fellow competitors, and relax so much. It's hard to refocus.
1.
Yes, and also, of course, they're not playing for a place in the next phase. Either way, they're going home tonight. Oh, well, that's incredible that Brown's gone in. Imagine trying to do
1
that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 5 Ali Carter.
Incredible. Had he played it with a little less pace, the cue ball would have gripped the cloth just before it struck the brown and spun away from it. It didn't happen. Real harm done. That's another mistake, I think, from Ali. Won't be able to get through to this red. Black is tied up. Pink is available.
One.
Well, the bottom line is O'Sullivan, amongst all the players on tour, could have skipped this event. He didn't need to be here. He doesn't need the ranking points or the money, I'm guessing, but chose to come. It's another chance to play. He's missed that blue.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 1.
Often said he picks and chooses his events, but he tends to play most of them. Almost all of them, actually.
I think from a ranking point of view, this match is probably a little bit more important to Ali Carter than Ronnie. Carter to get inside the world's top 16. Every point, every match that he plays is important to him.
No, that's right, and it's £1,000 difference, so, you know, who's to say that could make the difference between him getting in the Masters or not come the end of the year. Chance here. I do think as well, you know, that they do have a rivalry on table. They still want to beat each other because they could be playing again, you know, a couple of tournaments down the line with memories fresh of this one.
1.
Well, O'Sullivan now with a good scoring chance. I like to see rivalries. They are rivals, these guys. It's quite a friendly circuit overall.
8.
As Dominic said, you do find yourself sort of spending a lot of time with the other players at an event like this, but all sports need
9.
these matchups, the rivalries that generate interest. media and with snooker fans. Not supposed to be friends, are you? That's the bottom line. You can have friends in other walks of life.
16.
Just think though, Ronnie, these days as he gets older,
17.
enjoys his running, enjoys his social life and the things outside of snooker. He's a little more philosophical, I think, these days, and I don't think rivalry that does exist between these two
24.
players is quite so heavily balanced on the Ronnie O'Sullivan side of things. I think it's more with
25.
Ali, perhaps.
Yes, I think that's true. And when it comes to the actual meetings between them, O'Sullivan has won almost all of them. Obviously, the one people remember recently was at the Crucible 3 years ago when there was the shoulder barging, 4 years ago
32.
now.
33.
I think O'Sullivan always wants the same thing, which is just to play well and enjoy the process of what he's doing on the table.
$40. 41.
46. Great from Ronnie. It's a beautifully controlled positional shot.
47.
It's hard to see him breaking down here. Could play a delicate cannon into the pink and red here if he wished. But the red goes anyway, so there wasn't any need for that.
54.
There you go. Actually playing this other one with the rest.
55.
To 55. Lead 48. This black, red in colour. What he needs.
$62. 63.
Yes, of course, he has played quite a bit of snooker actually since the World Championship in exhibitions, where he's a great favourite.
70.
So it's not that Q hasn't been out at all.
71.
I was having a chat with Ronnie, Players Lounge, about practicing. And obviously Ronnie treats majors, the big
78.
tournaments, with a lot of respect. Does put the time in, but sometimes he
79.
says he'll do an hour, half an hour. Sometimes he'll fancy doing 4 or 5 hours in one day, and if he does that, sometimes he won't bother practicing at all for a couple of days afterwards. Very, very hard to keep putting the hours in, especially when you've been a professional for
84.
31 years and given your whole life to the sport.
I think he does more than people
85.
realise. I've seen him at all sorts of tournaments, you know, his head down on the practice table. But yeah, I mean, when it's hard to keep going. I think that was Stephen Hendry's issue in the end. When he retired, he just didn't enjoy spending all day in the club anymore.
92. 93.
Bullying some of these balls into the pockets now, isn't he, to make hopefully this century. If the black goes in, and in it goes, well, regardless of the position in the group, and of course he can't win it, a Ronnie O'Sullivan century is
100.
always special viewing.
102.
Yes, it's another one to add to the career total, of course.
Which now stands at 1,171.
105. 109. 114. 120.
Well, it's been a wonderful break, it really has. What about that?
127,
Clearance of 127
a first frame
from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Neither player can win the group, but they can still hopefully entertain us. So Sullivan leads Carter 1-0. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Ali Carter 1-0. This is a match that will decide third and fourth position in this group. O'Sullivan, a lovely 127 clearance there in frame one.
Ali Carter to break.
Interesting to see sort of season O'Sullivan has. He put so much intensity into winning that 7th world title. It's not going to happen at every event, surely, but expect him still to figure plenty of times as he knocks in that red.
One.
Just having a chat with Ronnie just half an hour or so ago about these sun tables. The fact that we did feel that down the cushion rails, shots going a little easier. Beautiful tables, and they have been playing terrifically well. This year's Betfit Championship League. Toss up in very quick. The cushions play really nicely. Pello there, just trying to spot the black. I don't think the black's on its spot. Looking at that picture, it may still go into that left corner. The red that's next to the black will also plot into the left corner. I'm sure Ronnie will play for it here because that will really open it back up into play. It's on it, but I have to think straighter on it because I'm not sure he can play for the black now from this red.
15.
It's either one to screw off. Made it pretty well. He's not perfectly on this black by any means, but I think he'd be happy with it.
$22.
This red goes, and it must do. This frame could be over fairly quickly.
23.
Look at the position of the balls. He has an angle on the black here, Ronnie. He could play delicate cannon into the two reds just below the pink. Didn't have to, but I'm a little surprised. I think he'd have had a better angle on this red that it's about to play. Yes.
30.
To take the red next to the black.
31.
Yeah, I was talking about the head-to-head. If you count every match played in all tournaments, big and small, between these two, then favours O'Sullivan 19
35.
wins to 3. So it is very one-sided.
36.
Team 3. For somebody as good as Ali Carter is as well, and the confidence that he plays the game with, and the fact that he's been in 2 World Finals. It's an incredible head-to-head record.
Yeah, well, of course, they're 2 of the 19. And of course, he did beat him at the Crucible, as I mentioned, but
40.
a lot of other meetings down the years as well in various tournaments. One in Belfast one time
41.
where O'Sullivan made 5 centuries, including a maximum, to win a best of 9.
Some of Ronnie's performances are astonishing. Absolutely annihilated Ricky Walden. It was in the Masters. Beat me in the semi-finals of the
48.
Northern Ireland Trophy in about 51 minutes or something. Standard of play that day was just something I've never seen before.
He's lost his way there, so just accepting.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Safety.
48.
Yes, that's why he is the greatest ever, because he's been doing it across the decades. He hasn't just been doing it in a concentrated spell. He's still doing it now 30 years into his career, as we saw at the Crucible this year. The oldest ranking event winner, Ray Reardon, at the age of 50. O'Sullivan's 47 this year. Of course, he's already got the record as the youngest ranking event winner. Only won the UK Championship at the age of 17. So, in a few years' time, he could well hold both. As he knocks that one in.
1. Four.
Ronnie performed this way in some of his earlier matches.
5.
Did 5 frames. First match in a bit. Haven't won any of those 5 frames. Very thick frame to finally get one on the board.
12.
That's the thing, though, of course, there's no real pressure in this match. So, you sort of expect him to
13.
play well. Like you say, just didn't do it when it mattered earlier on. This frame is over if the black goes in. It's going to be 2-0.
$20. 21.
Just missed the cannon there, Ronnie. I always marvel, you know, at his fluency. It reminds me very much of a concert violinist. It's just beautifully
28.
fluent.
Well, in off, so
Ronnie
end of
O'Sullivan,
break. Ali
28,
Carter stays in his
4.
seat.
Ali Carter.
Ronnie O'Sullivan
Frame conceded. Frame
leads
Ronnie
2-0.
O'Sullivan.
Remember, he needs 1 more for the 3 points.
The distant champion of champions.
He looked like he had it won. He looked like he'd lost it.
You can't say that's the killer blow. Well, you can say it was a hammer blow.
2 devastating breaks. He's on the brink.
101 for O'Sullivan. He's got a frame on the board. He looked mighty good in doing it.
What a way to open your account for the season. I get the feeling it will not be his last trophy this campaign.
So Ali Carter trailing here 2-0 and facing the prospect of finishing in 4th position now in this group.
The third frame.
If it is a draw, though, he will
Ronnie
still get
O'Sullivan to
third.
break.
O'Sullivan needs one more frame. He'll be third. Of course, Pang Junju has won the group. Yuan Sijun is second. So Pang's coming back on Friday. And tomorrow we've got our last 2 groups to decide the final 8 in this year's BetVictor Championship League. It's been a long tournament, this. It's a 21-day event in total. This is day 19, so just 2 left.
Get to the red that's closest to the left corner. That's the easiest pot. Good. Goodness me, he's playing well. Oh, if he's not hampered by the yellow, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him attempt the cut back on the brown. Again, just beautifully timed. For the red that's near the black spot. Also that will toss into the opposite corner. He has the angle to play for it.
6.
Purpose, he left himself parallel to the black, so in potting it, he can go into the pack of reds and dislodge a few. Intention was to be on the red to the left centre, but okay still.
14.
Again, just beautifully judged. Spots great building patterns in a flash. Ronnie O'Sullivan always knows the right shot to play at the right time. That's why he's made more century breaks than anybody else has.
$18. 19.
Yes, it's a talent from a very young age. There's a great story from when he was 10 years old. Him and his dad went to a Chinese restaurant, and one of the waiters said, "Oh, there's a snooker player in here." And it turned out to be Steve Davis, who at that time he wasn't world champion because he lost to Joe Johnson, but he was the #1. Everyone knew that. He was the king of the 80s. So Ronnie's dad went over and said, "My boy's a snooker player, will be world champion one day." Now you can imagine the amount of time Steve must have heard that over
26.
the years from people. Anyway, he posed for a picture with young Ronnie, which you see, it's
27.
online. And here we are, all these years later. O'Sullivan's gone past Davis's tally of world titles with 7 and equalled Stephen Hendry's.
A lovely story, Dave. I haven't heard it before.
34.
Actually. I really haven't. Incredible. I think
35.
players of similar age to myself, young, and you're watching all the players of the day in tournament. It's amazing that one day you turn professional yourself and you're playing them all. Steve Davis and Terry Griffiths and all of these guys. My favourite player when I was living in Coventry was Terry Griffiths. It was ironic, I ended up living close to him and practising with him as an amateur.
Well, I know this doesn't work for anyone watching, but I'm now going to show Dominic the
43.
picture. I found it online of young Ronnie and Steve in the restaurant.
Fantastic. Look at that. Look at Ronnie. Steve sitting down and Ronnie standing up, and they're head high with
50.
each other.
Well, of course, what he's done since is inspire
61.
so many other players, O'Sullivan, to take the game up themselves, including a lot of the Chinese guys who are here. They all adore him, actually, although they didn't stop stop the 2 of them beating him today.
58. 59.
And that's the best contribution any snooker player can make to this sport, is play the game, show us what you can do. And O'Sullivan's done that in the last match. Not quite there yet, though. Needed another red and a colour.
66.
Yes, I don't think Ronnie can even double the red into the left centre, the one that's to the right of the cue ball, because of the red that's between the blue and the pink there. I think it's in the way. That will hurt.
So not quite done yet.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 66.
I would, though, if this is to be the last frame, I'd like to wish Dominic all the best in Germany. A couple of weeks' time for the European Masters against another legend, Jimmy White.
Thank you very much, Dave. I'm always looking forward to playing Jimmy. It's always a great honour to play somebody that influenced so many professional players of today. Jimmy and Alex Higgins did. Sure. Hearts will be taking this red on. 2-0 behind, 66 behind. It's a chance to get back in the frame if it goes in. To be, where's the cue ball? It might be better having
Foul.
gone in off.
4. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Next red will be from long distance.
Needs one more red, doesn't he? So whether he can knock this in, decide whether that's the end of the day's entertainment. So it's not the end, and Carter, there's enough on here, there's 75 on, so could take us to a fourth frame.
Apart from that tricky red that's near the left-hand side cushion, I'd almost fancy to clear up from here. But there are ways of dealing with that awkward red, especially with the red that's near the right centre. He could cannon that red off the cushion,
6.
almost expecting to be on the red that's near the right centre as a guarantee.
7.
Does he have the angle here to screw back from the black and bring it into play? Maybe not.
$14. 15.
Red now is becoming more isolated. The left-hand side cushion, so I think Ali will either
22.
have to try and bring it into play latterly. Give himself a double on it,
23.
perhaps. Certain John Higgins will be very confident in playing a double. Choices to be made. He can play for the blue into the left centre,
30.
or screw back for the black.
$31.
Certainly has an angle here to bring it into play. But he's chosen to leave the double.
38.
Yeah, key shot now for him. Tries to, of course, force the draw and finish third in the table. Well, first things first, needed to win this
Charlie
frame.
Carter,
Red's not in,
38.
and again, O'Sullivan has a chance to put it away, complete the whitewash, and at least end the day with victory. It didn't start well for him. He lost 3-0 to Yuan Sejun. He lost 3-1 this evening to Pang Zhengzhu. Can he, though, finally win a match. Not yet. Well, they were both watching that red, weren't they, to see how far it would run.
Do you know, that will actually cut into the left centre. Well, I expect to be on possibly the brown or the pink from here.
Well, he needs at least a blue, doesn't he? He's 32 behind. That, surely that. Sullivan just needs the red. Carter getting ready maybe to concede. Well, he's going to let him play it out.
1.
So, of course, there wasn't that much on the match other than who was going to finish 3rd and 4th, which for these two, I guess, is not what they came here today to be thinking about. They wanted to win the group, but the group, like the week really, been dominated by Chinese players. Pang Zhengzhu has won it. Yuan Sijun has finished 2nd. Ronnie O'Sullivan, with this victory, will finish 3rd. So Ali Carter is in 4th position. But for both of them, Championship League ends here today.
13. $17.
Well, we saw a bit of
22.
O'Sullivan magic in frame 1, the 127. Another one for the list.
$28.
Well, all smiles at the end of the day, but
35.
it is, of
Frame
course,
and
Pang
match.
Zhengzhu who's won the
Ronnie
group.
O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan beats Carter 3-0 in the last match.
Cheers, Alan.
So
Okay,
Ronnie
that's
O'Sullivan
it. Cheers.
ends this group in 3rd position.
Okay, cheers.
That's confirmation. Pang Zhengzhu with 7 points, 2 wins and a draw. Yuan Sijun in 2nd position, O'Sullivan 3rd, and Ali Carter 4th. And table 2, Xiao Tong, of course, had already got that wrapped up after his first 2 matches, drew the last match, which was an exhibition affair with Mark Allen. Gary Wilson's 2nd place. He'll be in our commentary box tomorrow, so hopefully